because I could just put the questions
There we
on the
go.
screen.
So we are live. We're good. I don't think I cut it off here. Somebody will join. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to our second live stream. We started this last night, actually, and I've been working on it a little bit today. Didn't have time to set the cameras up and stream, but we are here because we had several people asking about streaming this part of the repair. So we're going to do it. Mack is on computers and comments, and go ahead and click the comments, Mack. Once, if you have any questions, comment away, and Mack can relay the question to me, and I'll answer while I'm pushing. There's going to be lots of pushing, knocking down and blending. We'll switch back to this over-the-shoulder camera so you can sort of see what is going on. So let me switch to a more camera-friendly color here. There we go. And I will bring this camera over to give you guys a little show of where we are currently at. Somebody's here. Hey, what's up, somebody, whoever you may be. So here's where we're starting out the day. Again, I've been doing some blending and knocking down already. Let's zoom in. Smoothing everything out. Body line's coming back. The body line was fighting me a little bit. I almost went back and added some tension. And then, I don't know if you'll see it here. We got a little bit of a crown. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of a remnant buckle that we will deal with at the bottom. Hey, what's up? It's Kevin Bird. Birdman. He doesn't do big dents like this. Kevin likes to stick with easier, smaller dents. And I don't blame him. He might be smarter than I am. So let's get this set up here. And give you a little zoom in. We'll work up here and get some things cleaned up. Got my old man glasses on. You guys can see this on camera. Yeah. So my little tech tip for you, if you're working on these Rams bedsides, I like to pull the pin out. I pull this little guy out. Where it's at. Pull that little guy out. There's 3 little holders on the back. And then I just take this old A1 1/4-inch tool and put it through there. So then you don't have to stand there and hold the tool up. You can sort of sit back and. I'm not allowed to do it. He knows I'm not allowed, but Mack better start practicing because you're going to do the beginners in Vegas, Kevin. Kevin, Mack's plan is to be the first 2-time winner of the Dent Olympics or the beginners dent competition. So tip, right, for those guys watching, I'm just using a R4 from Dead Dent Tools. I like to go with these in case we get a push through or breakthrough. We're hitting it with plastic instead of metal. What did Kevin say?
Vegas will be amazing.
It will be. Always a good time. That's a great show, the Vegas show. I like how intimate it is. I love MTE. That's still my favorite work week of the year. But man, Vegas is cool because you get to sit down and have conversations, and it doesn't have the crowd that MTE has. Now, I'm sure in time that's going to change, but for now, come out and enjoy. And I know that they're leaning heavy into education this year. Kevin's going to do some education. I'm going to do some education classes. Dave Shalott, Big Dent Dave, and Kevin are doing session 2 of their Wholesale is Not Dead talk. Sorry, Kevin, I can't remember the exact name you guys went with. But, yeah, it's good. Anything else going on there, Mack?
Somebody's in there. I don't know if it's Kevin or somebody else.
So this is sort of like that. I almost didn't live stream because it's sort of the boring part of the repair that nobody wants to watch. We're just sort of in and jamming up on little low spots. There's no exciting move like we had last night when we started this big thing. Yeah. Here you go. Sorry, got to keep the boss happy. I don't know. I think it was unlocked. Hold on. I'm coming. It's all right. All right. Anyways. All right, we're back. So, guys, if you have any questions or comments while you're up here, drop them in. Mack will relay them to me, and I will keep going. But what's that? We put a comment in that says like live stream day 2, finishing the bedside smash. Ask any questions. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So we are. Actually, think I'm going to grab throw a little bit of heat on this bad boy. You can pop Kevin's comment off if you want. What's that? Oh, there you go. You can. I didn't realize you could do your own comments on there. That's cool. Oh, you like that? Yeah, they're sponsoring this repair. Where can you see that? Can you see that in here? Oh, can you? Yeah. Oh, I see that. Look, very, very perceptive, Kevin. Yeah, what's up, Nick? How are you, buddy? Back doing some really exciting pushing. Zoom in here. Woo! Zoom way in, huh? As my buddy Keith Cosentino would say, this is like, you don't always want to watch him make the sausage. Working on getting that body line up. So, Nick, you're just joining in. You were in the stream last night. The body line is fighting me just a little bit. I would have thought about adding tension back in, but then I would have, prior to lateral tension, I never would have used lateral tension to fix this. And really, I don't feel like firing up the glue guns. So we're just going to push and blend through it and be just fine. We're definitely into that boring part of the repair where it's just trying to move metal up nice and clean. And I got to use some heat because I'm not down in beautiful sunny Florida like Kevin is. So I have to bring my own heat. But it is nice enough. This is day 2 of 2025 of having the garage doors open for the afternoon. So we're going to take it. Might even shed the hoodie here in a little while. Yes, definitely. The lateral tension. And really, I think Nick missed the move last night because I was busy stealing all their viewers from their podcast. But that initial move moved great. And we had a ton of metal come up, but that was doing a big part to having that lateral tension on there to let that body line move back and forth, or back into place, I mean. Instead of watching, if anybody wants to just come fix this for me, like I can sit here and watch you fix dents too. I'm open to that. Maybe I can give you some coaching along the way. See if I can point you in the right direction. Speaking of which, maybe we still got the banner up. We still have, I think we have 4 spots left for our level up training as of right now. That's March 24th to the 28th right here at the shop. And me and Jean are going to do it. Be a great day, or a great week, not day. Great week. Lots of hands-on. Learned from, he's a 10-time winner now, which is just insane. Kevin, if you're still on here, man, I don't know that you're going to get him to switch to the judging side. I think he wants more than 10. He might go to 20.
Jordan said he would use an RSI 36 from dent prep. RS 136, RSI 36.
Is that a tip or a rod? Could be a larger tip because the R's are radius, the 36 to 36 around. Kevin, what's that answer there?
Rod.
It's a rod, 36-inch rod. So I'm currently using, switch to whatever that. So I'm currently using, it's like a 4-foot ultra double head is what I'm in there with. Nice drive. My dent crafts, so 36. Is that what? Yeah, might be like. Did he say double bend?
Single bend, half-inch diameter.
Oh, so it's probably like the one that's over on your cart. Go grab that and see if that's it. So there's my double bend dent craft. Love those. This is just one of those tools that, like, look at that handle. She's been around a long time. This used to ride around in the bed of my truck, which is why it's so beat up. This is probably the tool that Kevin is speaking of. Right here, Kev. This bad boy. Single bend. Right there, probably.
So the ultra rod's awesome too.
Yeah, lots of drive. That's, I mean, Kevin doesn't need to hear this, but for any of the newer guys listening, that are tuned in or that are going to watch this on a replay, having a good tool with good steel makes all the difference in the world. You don't want to waste your energy bending the tool, right? You want to put all that in. That's my shorter rods are dent craft all day. I've got a 5-foot version of dent craft like this too, Kevin, but it's just getting a little long for a steel bar. It's got a little bit of spring to it. It's probably time for me to invest in one of those skinnier carbon rods around this length.
Nick says he is the 48-inch ultra dent craft.
Ultra dent craft?
The dent craft ultra, 48-inch.
Okay. Yeah, the 40, and if you're going to a 48-inch tool, you need to have good drive or you're just going to be wasting energy. Ultra and Dentcraft are both great tool companies. Finesse, A1. Those are sort of the go-to push tools. And then when you get into like the Tequila line, the hub tools or Dent Reaper or Excalibur, those are all made by A1 to their specifications. Trying to keep my head out of the camera for you guys.
Kevin said the carbon that Dave Schlemmer had at that stuff.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. We've got the telescoping Dent Stuff one here. Is that a solid? I'll have to check that out. Dent Stuff's good stuff. His arms, I can't remember what he calls them, but his arms that I put on my Carbon Tech hood stand are just phenomenal. Like they've made that stand so useful. Yeah, Dave Schlemmer has some really good tools. There's lots of good tools in the industry today.
Nick's first tool was the 36-inch double bend Ultra.
Nice.
That's like the best starter.
Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with a double bend. Speaking of first tools, you'll appreciate this, Nick. So I just keep this hanging on the wall. I don't use it anymore, but it's nostalgic to me. This is an adventure tool. They are since out of business. TDN tried to acquire them and get them going, but this is from my original set. So it's an adventure, I don't know, around about 3 feet, double bend, blade tip. But I pushed so many dents with this. See if I get it to show up. That I actually flattened here. Has actually flattened out on the tool. So I just keep this thing hung up on the wall to show it off. The 36 inches is a great, like, all-around tool. You can do fenders. You can sneak into quarter panels. You can sneak into bedsides. I've got an industrial glue pot, Kevin. I might just have to send Mack back into the studio to grab it. It's on the bottom of the Kiko cart. Yeah, it's like this big. Yeah, wait till you see this, Kevin. You're gonna be jealous. You might even hop on Amazon and pick one up. Pretty sure it's still back there, bud. We've got them on the hunt for the glue pot. Now, I did not hop on the bandwagon for the original glue pot, but I have seen some for sale still in the wrapper. Maybe I need to get one and add it to the museum. Back there? Yeah. So here, I'll take it. So flip me back over to this middle camera. Look at this, Kevin. Look at this glue pot. This, man, this bad boy, that'll hold some glue. It's actually kind of cool. So this is non-stick, so the glue doesn't stick to it. I was trying to find a good solution for doing the straps, like to get a ton of glue. This just doesn't quite get hot enough. It's like a good start, but it's not quite there. But that's my industrial glue pot.
They're going to start a museum.
I like it. I like it. Some of the old tools were like just bent screwdrivers and stuff like that. You can switch back to whatever camera you want, but I don't care. Nick, are you still out on the Hail Trail in Colorado, or what are you doing? If he's still in here. Has a meat made it back from India yet? Has he chimed in?
Jonathan just got in from JBF.
JBF tools. What's that?
You need his new glue gun.
I do need to get his new glue gun. You know, Jonathan, thanks for popping in. We did a live stream last night. In hindsight, after I was sort of into it, I should have gone with the retention tool to start this job. But I had hopped on. I was trying to keep it open and went with the K-Power. After I glued it up and it was sitting there and we already started moving, I remembered that I had my brand new, like I just opened the box up from Anson. I have your body line buddies for the retention. It would have been perfect on here. But I guess that just means I have to do another live stream with more loophole. Change this angle. Okay. Is he, Nick, are you going to come to Anson's open house? You make it down? Yeah, Jonathan's new glue gun is insane. I've seen a couple videos. I'm going to have to pull the trigger on one, I think. Literally. See what I did there? It's a glue gun. Pull the trigger. Come on, that was good. All right. At least Mack thought it was, well, he didn't even think it was funny. He's just humoring me. All right. You should be there regardless, man. Airports are close to everywhere. Always a good time. And for all those guys last night that said this was a popper, my shoulders disagreed today. Stefan?
Yeah, he said,
what's up, dude?
Nick's headed to Texas and he's headed to New Jersey.
Oh, nice. Well, I'll see him at New Jersey this week. If anybody is coming to the Northeast show this weekend, I will be in the Perfect Pull booth with Mark Jackson. And I think if I looked at the map right, we're right next to Kiko. So stop by and check it out. You can stop by and see the new horse clamps, my new product I'll have there. I don't know that we have room in the booth for a horse, but we're at an auto body show, so I'm sure there's going to be plenty that we can hook it up to. So for you guys who weren't on last night, this is the remnants. The guy and his wife pulled up on a motorcycle next to their truck, and he said that she started to get off of the bike before he was ready, and it was coming over, and I guess the weight of her and him and the bike came over, and his shoulder went right into the bedside and just absolutely caved this thing in. Starting to look like a bedside again, so that's good. What's that, bud? Nice. We can always go grab dinner, too, if it lines up again. It's always good to see Blake. He's one of my GPR kids. It's my GPR son, Mac. He's like your GPR brother. Kind of like a stepbrother, but different. So this is definitely the exciting part of PDR when you're doing big dances, just sitting here and picking up little lows all over the place. Kevin, thanks for stopping by, brother. Always good to hear from you. I'm sure we'll seeing you somewhere before too long. Oh, nice. He wasn't sure that he was going to be. Well, I will definitely be over to see you. Nice. Maybe we can shoot a little video about the horse clamps while I'm out there, Stefan. And also, Stefan or anybody else that's at the show, I think this week's or next week's All Access podcast is going to be a roaming podcast from the Northeast show. So it's going to be a collection of short interviews with people who are there. So if you are there or thinking about being there and you want to hop on a podcast and talk for a few minutes, we'll be there. So that should be pretty cool. I won't do that one through StreamYard. I'll probably just run and gun with my GoPro and my DJI mics, and we'll be good to go. So maybe we can get you on there, whether it's for Cam Auto or Smash Masters or U-Brake iFix, or all three, I guess. We'll talk about it. Kevin's not coming anyways. Andy's not camera shy. Stefan's camera shy. Okay. Yeah, he gets real nervous in front of a camera. How many followers are you up to on TikTok now, Stefan? That'd be 30,000, something like that, maybe. I haven't looked in a while. 50? I don't know. I need to go to a master class on building that social following. That's part of what this is about. Like these streams, I enjoy talking while I work and teaching while I work. So I'm hoping to be able to branch out more and teach some more through live streams like this. So make sure you like, share, comment, all those button things. And we're live right now. We're on Facebook and YouTube. Our Facebook is our strongest channel. Really could use some love over on YouTube. So if you can go to our YouTube at Auto Appearance Institute and hit that subscribe button, that helps us out tremendously.
37,000 on TikTok, 41,000 on Facebook.
Oh, nice. Facebook made a big move on Facebook. Congratulations, dude. That's awesome.
He's making an online course for social media tips.
Huh. If he needs somewhere to host that, we can help him out. Yeah, dude, I've got, if you're interested at all, I've got everything set up to be able to pop that right in. So think about it. We're happy to do that. And let me know when it's going live. I want in. I need to do that.
Matt Myers says, you just got to start posting thirst traps and dance videos. So I get the followers.
Is that the name of the game, huh? Thanks for the tips, Matt. Maybe even hop up on the pulpit.
Move that light a little closer.
Move the light closer? Yeah. Yep. This way. How's that? You see that? That looks good, doesn't it? Is that better? It's so hard to see. Let me move this in a little bit. You got to get it lined up on a, you sort of got to be where I'm pushing. It's hard to see. Man, there's a little delay going to the screen. There, that's pretty well centered. So that's why Mike Toledo does so well with these, because he uses lines to show, and the lines really help people see where you're at. I can't fix with lines, or I'd do that for you guys.
Stephen said he was thinking about asking you.
Yes, we would love to. Absolutely. 1,000%. That's part of what AAI does. What's up, Hugo? UK is the UK. Absolutely. Oh, so we're just plugging along. We started this last night with some big glue pull moves, some lateral tension, and a lot of the viewers were asking for some more streaming today. So, albeit boring, that is what we are giving you guys, is exactly what you're looking for. So this is just like to do big smashes, to do big dents. This is what it boils down to, is just spending the time to make it right. Wrong way. Spending the time to make it right. Even like I remember being at Advanced Skills. Right. I remember being at Advanced Skills, man, probably back in 2016, maybe. And Bryce, it was right when Mobile Tech RX was coming out, and Bryce Kelly was there, and they took one car and smashed. They drove the bumper of the car down the back door of an Explorer and rode it. Bryce started that and talked about it all and got moving on it, and then we moved inside for another part of the class, and then Keith and Paul Corden hopped up on stage, and they were teaching some sales. And I still am pretty strong at sales. It's one of my strong suits, like especially in-person sales. Super comfortable with that. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go out and watch Bryce work and see what kind of magic secrets I can learn from Bryce. And in like the middle of the repair, like this, there's not really a whole lot of magic. It is just literally sit there and push dents. Like you're just picking up lows is all you're doing. Let's see if I can get that light up a little higher for you guys. I almost need to like throw a line board up behind here or something. How's that? It's better. Anyways, like getting to go out and watch Bryce work, still freakishly good. But like this middle section is just patience is all it comes down to. So I'm just giving this hammer a test out. I stole this. There you go. I stole this off of Jean when he was here after MTE. So what? Where are you at? Stole this off of Jean after MTE. It's an HRC 64. No idea what that is. I think it might be one of those German hammers. A little heavy, but I kind of like the rebound off of the panel. So what I'm doing here, like, is not just blindly swinging. I've got some soft, subtle highs. Just trying to bring down areas more than points. There are guys out there that are good enough to do high points with a hammer. I am not one of them. But like Shane Jacks learned on Just Hammers, he's amazing with just a hammer, what he can do. Don Cavanaugh is like a hammer guy. So weird thing with knockdown or when you're doing a hammer like this, and I learned this from my buddy Tom Poland out at Midwest Dent, Indianapolis Auto Spa. As you're knocking down, you actually watch areas of the panel sort of fall back in, and that leaves you like it actually lets you see what's going on. It's kind of amazing how much metal will keep falling in with vibrations going through it. And sort of his theory was, oh, excuse me, stay up too late streaming for you guys last night. Sort of his theory is that if you don't take care of those pieces that'll want to fall back in, as the car is driving down the road and twisting and bumping, you're going to get little lows that fall back in, and you're actually leaving a little bit of repair left. kind of made sense. And really, when you start working on knocking down like this, you'll see things fall in that just aren't even where you're hitting. So one of those tips that's made me a little better technician, or at least a little bit more OCD. Hey, Mac, if this had as bad an orange peel as that Grand Cherokee yesterday, I could almost just be done. That was a lot. I don't know if you guys can see that. Right here, let me move the light a little bit for you. That is one of those spots that just likes to fall in. All right, Jonathan, Nick, thanks for stopping by, guys. Sorry it's not a super exciting video. Anyways, right, see that? Right on that center bulb. See that low spot showing up? Right there. That actually just fell back in from knocking down. So it's just one of those things that you need to take care of. Work down below the body line, get you guys a little pan down here. What, bring that light a little closer for you? There we go. Looking pretty good. We're going to go back and do some pushing. And I think I'm going to add, we'll go to a phenolic tip. Show it to you guys. So a little phenolic tip, if we can get her to focus. There we go. That phenolic tip, they look like wood, but it's actually a resin. Gives you a pretty sharp push, and it just will not leave a hard tool mark. I mean, these are my favorite tips for going in and doing this sort of like mid to even finishing. I buy mine at Anson. So, right, incredible little tool or little tip. Just go in here, detail this up a little bit. I'm gonna put a little bit of heat back on there. Again, guys, if you got any questions, we're going to talk about anything, pop it up in the comments. And Mac, who's running the camera and everything for me, will relay your question. We can talk about it while I'm pushing. Any new comments or anything there, Mr. Mac? What? So I guess what events do we have coming up? So we've got our level up training here at AAI the last week of the month with me and Jean. Just go on the website and look at the level up link. So it's autoappearanceinstitute.com/level up. Before we started this stream, I only had 4 seats left. This weekend, if you are in the New York City area, I am going to be at the Northeast Auto Body Trade Show at the Meadowlands Exposition Center in New Jersey. I will be in the Perfect Pull booth with Mark Jackson. I think we are set up next to Kiko, if I read the floor map correctly. Cam Auto will be there. I think Charlie and Steve Dyke, and just now I heard Stefan will be there in the booth. Always great to go see those guys. Stop by. I'm actually going to be recording this week's All Access podcast live from there. We're going to do a little walk around, talk about episode. Then May 3rd is going to be the Anson Open House at Anson in Burleson, Texas. Those guys are great. Always love getting to go down and hang out and see them. Really such gracious hosts. It's like if you've never been to the Anson showroom, it is like a playground for toys. Let's just bump you there. It's like a playground for toys. Stu, thanks, buddy. It's coming right along, dude. We will get there for sure. I lost Mack's comment. We'll leave that up there. Yeah, it's coming along. It's just a slow process, tedious process. Today? Then? Oh, huh. Anyways, this is just the nitty-gritty finishing of doing these big dents. Stu, you get to see Dan fix some big dents. He's good at getting himself in over his head. But I mean, this just comes down to like, it's kind of the boring part of it, where you're just literally sitting there pushing on little tiny low spots. There's no big moves, nothing too exciting, but it's where you finish it out. And then, like, obviously I've taught a lot of large glue pull repair. I've taught advanced training. We're doing one at the end of the month. Ultimately, at the end of the day, all big dents, no matter how big they are, become small dents. Yeah, like that's just the truth of it. Like everybody wants to move bigger. Well, if you can't finish out orange peel and get your texture right, it sort of doesn't matter how big of a dent you can fix, because, right, you're leaving this whole big mess all the way around. So again, guys, if you have any questions or anything, drop them in the comments. Mack will read it to me, and we will talk about it.
Brian Westerman wants to know, is the rule when working down a crown, you start on the highest outside area and then work it towards the net, or work the crown closest to the net and then work away?
That's a good question. You said it was Brian?
Yeah, Brian Westerman.
Yep, Brian. So I like to work on, I follow a repair path on bringing damage up. I go strongest to weakest, deepest to shallowest. When I'm knocking down, I'm going highest to lowest. So I always want to attack whatever my highest point is. And typically that's going to be, further away from the dent. If you think about metal like a bucket of water, we drop a rock in that bucket of water, it makes ripples, and those ripples travel away from the impact point. Well, metal does the same thing when it's hit, it travels away. But because it's a solid and not a liquid, it hangs up on or where it rippled out to, and it stays there. We sort of need to bring that furthest metal away, furthest highest typically metal away back into the low to give us the metal to bring the low up. Also, like the metal will tell you what it wants to do. And I'm not saying that like I'm a lunatic that actually talks to metal, but like basically, if your high is knocking down and flowing in, keep knocking your high down. If the low is picking up, whether it's a push tool or a glue tool, as long as that low is moving, keep going. If either one of those stop or become stuck or even stubborn, the metal is literally yelling at you like, hey, dude, I don't have anywhere to go. You got to pick up a low so I can move in, or you got to knock down that high so I can get some metal in. But anyways, that was sort of a long answer, but highest to lowest is my general rule of thumb. Any other questions? Mack is not even listening to me. He's in TikTok land. Any other questions or anything? Okay. We're going to mic you up so I can just talk to you here. We can banter back and forth. So, Brian, it really like Stu, I guess anybody who's kind of newer to the craft, you have to understand, one of the big things to learn to understand is that dent repair is not necessarily a 1, 2, 3 process. It is a completely reactive process. So as we're in and we start moving things, based on how that moves is going to decide where we're going next. And then from there, like you're constantly in a state of reaction to what is going on.
Dan says, hey, this reminds him of his brand Bedside did 2 weeks ago, but he's glad to see you on.
Well, he didn't. I got to see his before versus my before, and his was way worse than what I started with. But yeah, I bet your shoulders are still hurting from that, Dan. That was a gnarly one. So we used some lateral tension in here to get this thing moving. Dan had to use lateral tension to get that thing up. That thing was smoked. Smoked. Good. Well, I'm planning on doing more and more of these. Someday I want to have more followers than Stefan. That's my goal. I want to put that out into the world, Stefan. I want more followers than you. I need your class, dude, because I feel like we put out good content. I feel like it's polished, but I just don't get the connection like you get. And I just don't know what that answer is. Also open to suggestions. Hey, Stefan, if you're still on here, how long have you been working on building your followings? Like when I met Stefan, probably has to be 3 years ago, maybe, when I did his class. He was approaching the 10,000 follower mark. I think it was the 10,000 mark on TikTok, because that's when a lot of opportunity starts to open up. So I guess, how long have you been working on your following, dude? And I think he's probably at work listening. So,
Johnson
what did he say?
Curry.
Steph Curry?
You can also tell by the sound of
The tightness of that? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Brian wants to know, what tip are you using?
Good question. I would assume on pushing. He wants to know. So let me see if I just have another one of those loose that I can show him. Yeah, here. So you're coming back here.
Yeah.
So the tip that I'm using, so I was using a plastic R4. Now I'm using these phenolic tips. Oh, that's a plastic tip. I can't see anymore, man. There we go. You're using one. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong one. I'm using a phenolic tip. So they look like wood, but they're actually a resin. I buy these from Ants and PDR. I love them because they're not slippery, and they will not leave a harsh tool mark, but you can actually push pretty sharply with them and finish out pretty well. But the one tech tip is only push direct with these. Do not side load. If you side load and you're trying to twist, because it is just that resin, you can actually snap out of here. And I've hit cars and broken paint with that set screw or pin, whatever you want to call it. But when you're direct pushing, man, that's just super clean. Great for sharp damage. Great for body lines. That's an awesome.
It's been about 3 years, a little over 3 years he's been making content to Bedside.
Nice. Wow, that's not as long as I figured it would have been longer. Well, we're at AAI is just over 2 years where we're at. So I guess we're way behind pace. But we haven't been doing it as long as Stefan. And we are using the shock blocker knockdown in green and a VIP. What are these battleship tips, Mac? Mac, is that the battleship tip, the ones you bought?
No, that's the black sail.
Black sail.
Or maybe it's battleship.
One of those. And then I'm using my stinger paddle for knocking down. Available at Anson. Love this thing. And you get a free course on AAI when you buy one.
First, Dan's making fun of your flicks over there.
Hey, he can make fun of them all he wants. Matt.
He's not a content creator, but he feels like the educational stuff gets less engagement.
Right.
If you look at Elevate and Company, it's short engagement, most people are scrolling for entertainment, not education.
Yep, his elevation dense content is pretty freaking awesome. You're absolutely right. He's entertainment. Maybe I need to be more entertaining. Stefan, what do you see there? If you're not busy, like what do you think the key to growth is? Is it information? Is it education? Is it a mix of the two?
Stefan said he did YouTube for a few years before.
Okay.
That helped him some more understanding. Is this mic over here live?
If you take it out of the box, it will be. Yeah, just the green. The light will turn green or amber. I'm gonna have to turn it on. Press and hold power.
Hey Dan, what's up?
Hey, you said Jean's on here?
Yeah.
Hey, Jean, I like this hammer that I stole from you. I don't think you're going to get it back.
You just said dance and lose clothes, you'll get followed.
What's that? Dance and lose clothes? Listen, you don't want to see me dance or naked. I promise. No, it's all in one thing. So you should be on. Can you guys hear Mac?
Hey, can you hear me? I'm reading comments. here.
What's that?
Brian said, if the time permits, show pushing a variety of tips to show why certain tips at certain times are more efficient in getting the metal up without fatiguing the tech.
Sure.
He wants to see like what the difference is between pushing tips on a work like this.
Okay.
If not, you can show tips or something.
Yep. Yep. No, we can talk about that. I will.
Let's help everybody.
We'll go in here and get granular in a minute. Yeah, she's coming along.
Stephen said he agrees with Matt. Nobody has attention span, so you can hook them in the first 2 seconds. That's where you get the attention and follow-up from.
Well, that was why you made me do that horse clamps video the way I did, and then the funny video that's coming up with sleeping. So Brian, you're asking about tips. So here's my setup. So Ultra 4-foot, maybe 9/16 rod, maybe. Anyways, here's my setup that's in there. So we started with glue, and then I went to an R4 because I was already down to relatively soft lows. And then as those soft lows broke up, that's where I switched to phenolic to make some moves through. Another great tip to push with on bigger damage. So this is just set up on my Kiko hammer, but I've got them for push tools too. These pivot tips go onto an R4 ball. And what's nice is, one, they have a metal plate in them. I don't know that that'll show up on camera. So they have a metal plate in them, so you won't push through, or you can't push through with your tool. But these really, on that R4 tip, come up, and when they hit the panel, make for a perfect push and a pretty broad push. He has them. I think that one's got a little bit of a convex face. This one has a little flatter face. Right, so different faces. I feel like this lighter blue is a little softer than this dark blue. Anyways, so these are a good tip. So move a lot of metal, but you'll get quickly to a point where you can't push precisely enough. That's where I switched to the cherry cap, right, to the R4. And then right after my R4 is always into here. And then I will switch down to, like when I'm getting into finishing, this little 380 tip. This will let me get in and really pinpoint orange peel, but I wouldn't even want to be at this point of pushing with this because it's going to be so many pushes, and Mack can probably relate to that as he's in his PDR journey. And I just moved him from regular push tools to whale tails. Well, with push tools, he could go and move sort of large areas of metal. Switching to the whale tail, he's seeing how much softer he has to push and how many more pushes it takes to move the metal. We even went back to just pushing some smaller dents in the open, but sticking with like a blunt pencil tip, just so he could see the difference. And it's literally like dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of more pushes to see what's going on.
So Brian, I think talking about the fatiguing there, he mentioned it, but you want to make the least, I mean, you don't want to be pushing all day long for something. You could push with like that R4 or the phenolic. One phenolic push is, I mean, you would probably do 4 or 5 pushes with that 380. So it's really just matching tip to the damage, what's going to treat you best. So just a few examples. I hope that answered your question.
Yep, that's exactly it. And then like moving up comparatively, that R4 tip is like 3 or 4 pushes with a phenolic.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the pivot tip would be like 3 or 4 pushes with the R4. So, theoretically, you could we could push this whole dent with like a circus tip, like a needle sharp, nasty tip. But it just doesn't make sense because I would have to push 1,000 times more, not like 1,000 pushes. I mean, like 1,000% more pushes compared to how we're doing it here and working from larger tips to smaller tips. And in essence, like my big glue pulls are all just giant push tips, just working from the other side. But the goal there is to move large amounts of metal very cleanly.
That's right, John. Cherry cap is king. I was going to say it before you sent the comment.
John's probably sitting at home, relaxed, he's got his feet up on the couch, still out here grinding away. But I guess he's technically 6 hours ahead of us, so we'll let him take a little time off tonight. So Brian, I don't know where you're at in your career or anything, but these are parts of the things that we'll be talking about at our level up courses. Tip selection for efficiency, tip selection for finishing out, for detailing in the work. That's our last level up is when I fell in love with that little 380 tip that I just showed. That was one of Jean's go-to tips, and man, it's just got a great push. That's also where I haven't used it yet on this repair, but I fell in love with the Glexo 4-ounce blending hammer. Like, this was a go-to blending hammer for Jean, and this thing has just been amazing. I actually bought this and that tip from the training. Like, we actually, quite a few of us put an order into Anson to get it shipped in while the class was still going on. So speaking of fatigue or efficiencies, right? That's why I like this double-sided head. So I just switched from, I just got done pushing with the R4. Other than to show you, I don't have to do anything but flip the tool around. And I've got a sharper finishing tool in there with that phenolic already ready to go. And definitely like talking with Jean, teaching with Jean, and seeing just how quick he is. He is just a master, or Jean, I guess if you're listening, you're just a master at efficiency. Like, he doesn't make bad pushes. He doesn't waste in and out looking for a tool. He's set up just to be as fast and as clean as possible.
Dan says that Glexo is the best blending hammer.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome hammer. It really, really is. But I don't know, man. I'm telling you, the one I stole from Jean, this little bad boy, man, I'm kind of digging it. Like a live studio audience in here now. Melissa and Shannon sticking their heads in to see what's going on. Shannon's mad that I did the big move last night when she wasn't here. I told her if she was really dedicated, she would have been at home waiting for my live stream and could have watched it live on the internet.
John said it's all yours, that hammer.
Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying the stream, because I almost didn't even do it because it's such, like, the actual work. It's kind of boring to see, and I can't very well keep the camera in front of me and try to show you everything I'm working. And if I went with my GoPro bite mount, I wouldn't be able to talk. No comments from the peanut gallery. And if I put like the wireless transmitter on there, it would like probably deform my jaw trying to keep it in there and show you everything. I'll tell you what I will do coming up. We'll do some up close and personal small work that's faster than a big bedside smash. And I'll set the GoPro up and give you that. I call it the technician's eye view. It's as close to being able to see what we're doing without being here, like without actually being in person. Now, Brian, if you're still watching, we're getting down to the point where the micro lows that I'm going after are smaller than my phenolic tip wants to push. So I'm going to have to switch to the 380 tip pretty soon to do some dial in and detail work. And now what I'll do for efficiency is, instead of getting rid of the phenolic tip, I'm going to get rid of the R4 because I shouldn't need that anymore because we've worked smaller than that. So we're going to go in with this setup now. So I'm going to come in and detail with that. You can see it's a pretty, well, it's not pencil sharp, but it is a pretty sharp tip. And again, Brian, I guess to talk more about fatigue, with this sharper tip, I have to push more times to cover the same surface area, but I don't have to push as hard because, percentage wise, we just went down, 75, 80% reduction in the surface area that's hitting the panel. So I'm focusing more of my power to that tip. As it comes down more to understanding when you're wasting pushes based on tip size.
Brian said stainless bullet ? So I guess the question is if that's just a stainless bullet.
No,
it's
from Dead Dent Tools, available at Anson. It's the 380. I don't know that it's stainless. I don't know how well it's coming through, but it is like gold. I have a brass tip. I don't think that it's brass, but I could be wrong. But it's got definitely a gold hue to it, for sure. I don't know if it's a plating, because it might be brass. Even the threads. I want to focus in. There we go. Even the threads are shiny, so maybe it is a brass tip. Definitely not stainless, but it's a great finishing tip.
Dan said being in person is so valuable to pick even the littlest tips and techniques. No matter how long you've been in PDR, highly recommend these in-person trainings. It's a good point, Dan.
Well, thanks, Dan.
If you look at the banner on the bottom of the screen, level up. It's going to be a good advanced training.
I guess Dan would rather go on vacation with his family than come to our training, though. So we'll give him a pass.
Boring.
But one of these days, we're going to have to get Dan out here for some advanced training. He tackles some big, crazy stuff. I know you would benefit from it. Maybe next time you and Stu can come out, because Stu will be ready to level up that way, and you'll be ready to go deeper into your big dents. It'll be good. Stu, start working on them. What's that? Oh, I thought the peanut gallery was whispering at me.
And Chase. Dan said Chase too.
Oh, and Chase too. Well, that's right. Oh, yeah. How is Chase is in training? How's Chase's training going, Dan? He's out at Gateway Dent. He's out there with Titus Shane. Titus is Grant from our last level up trainings. It's Grant's son is getting into the business. So maybe the next one's going to be, we have a bunch of young guns in there. We'll have to get Mack in here. We get Stu, Chase. We'll get Titus coming up. John, we might have to start planning that, like, not quite level up, but something like this, the intermediate level up, like just level. Maybe it's just we'll just keep you the same.
Stu said he'll just punch his fender in and practice.
There you go. We can teach him more. Oh, man, I got or 2/3 of the dent crew for Dent Specialist here watching me work live. You guys must be. Maybe they have me on at the shop. Maybe I'm on all the big TVs. We can mic Shannon up. Shannon can get on here and comment. Whew. Shannon, somebody was mentioning Elevation Dent Company on Instagram.
Yeah,
It's one of Shannon's favorites.
he does it all. He does it all.
And so they're just listening while they're working,
I know. I'm just messing with them.
sitting around.
Yeah, living that dent guy life. So Brian, I'm down below the body line now, and I can see moving the light. I've got a couple of larger lows. All I do is flip back over to that phenolic tip. Give me that bigger, softer push. Move up more metal with it. I guess less fatigue and more efficiency. And also really like the faster you can get out of a repair, the less you're going to beat your body up. Leverage is important. So I think I showed this earlier before or right when the stream was going. Speaking of fatigue, so on these rams right here are these clips for the taillight, right? They clip in, and that's what the taillight locks into. So for fatigue purposes, everybody, I've got this old A1. It's one of my go-to tools, but it just works great for here. I actually sneak that through the hole that clip goes in, and now I don't have to waste any energy holding the rod up. If you can, like this bar probably weighs, I don't know, 6 pounds, 8 pounds. I don't have to waste time holding it up. I can let all the weight sit right on there when I'm pushing. So just again, dropping those little tips, and those little things make a difference when you're into a repair like this where you're going to be on it for hours. Shannon, do you have any questions? Shannon's afraid to talk.
I'm like not related to this. Work questions. I have to call this guy.
In 10 minutes. Tell him we'll have it ready for him tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's going to be close to the end of the day. I want to look at it with fresh eyes and just dial it in tomorrow when we're done. So yeah, just let them know. We'll keep it overnight. We'll call them when it's done. Any other questions? That was kind of related to this. It's about this car. Yeah, see? That's because I don't like you. Just kidding. I'll have to call you next time and let you know when we're going to.
I'm doing a Facebook Live if you want to see this.
Right?
Dan wants to know, do you have a PDR finesse bedside tool for cross-checking from the top?
Well, yes, Dan, I do.
Of course he does, Dan.
Great question, Dan.
But since he asked and we're teaching and talking, that would be these tools. If Mack would switch cameras, that would be these tools. So they're actually really handy tools. They're flat, so they fit down through those slots at the top. I got two different sizes. I think that's like 24, probably 24 and 36. This is a little heavier duty, a little larger gauge. Actually, the same width, just not quite shaved as much. These things are awesome. And also, if you have, pick this up from my buddy Charlie, if you have the Ultra style soft tips, these will fatten out. Let's see if I can sneak one on here for you. These will fatten out and slip on here with some heat. I'm not going to shove it all the way on with heat, but if you warm that cap up, these actually fit on these finesse bedside tools really well. Those are handy. I don't use them very often, but for getting through the top of the bedside, they're fantastic. Oh man, I would need a coffee. We have to go on a coffee run, Mac.
Then Fixer wants to know the part number for the 36.
Let me get that. 10 Fixer, is that Martin? It is a 249 dent fixer. 249. And the small one is 449. So 249 and 449. Actually, they're super handy tools. And sometimes they're also great for like doors off and sneaking into some weird spots when you got a door off and on a stand. So, and they're finesse tools. They're great tools. Hey, Dan, how did your customer like his bedside, Ram bedside smash you did? Sure, he was thrilled to death. Dan was out there getting custom tools made and everything. That was a big hit. Dan does some big stuff. Getting closer.
Dan said he was really happy.
I bet. Yeah, that was a nasty smash. I hope you got video of that to put up on your social channels, Dan. Dan's Dent Specialist Inc., I think, across the board. So you guys should go check out some of the smashes he gets into. And Stu Lab works there. He's the newest technician. Good stuff. Get this out of the way. We'll get a little drink of water. Get a little parched. Starting to look like a bedside, huh, bud? Lost where I was at. All right, do a little bit of crown work. I think we'll bust out that Lexo hammer and see how she does. Let's get this dust off of here.
Brian says his thoughts were using the Excalibur tips, the half moon shape,
Uh-huh.
push more of the shape of the panel for restructuring.
So I don't have
Sculpting.
those tips. I actually don't even know that I didn't know Excalibur made tips.
Like a crescent tip, I guess.
Huh. So I mean that's logical. That sort of goes to like I'm missing got a Dent Reaper tip that sort of a crease tip. It must be on a tool somewhere. So Brian, I'm assuming you mean like different shaped faces where you can almost rock the metal out, like match the contour of the panel. Sort of like stand liner style, maybe. Give me another comment to see if that's what he's talking about. I don't know what those Excalibur tips are. I'm gonna have to go check them out. Any comments there, Mac?
Dan just said, yes, he does to the big damage, and he's got a sore knee from kneeling on the bed, cross-checking.
I bet. You need a mat, buddy.
Brian said they're like the stand liner crane arc.
Okay. I haven't seen them. I'm going to check them out. You said it's Excalibur tool. I will take a look at that. So I have been playing with Dent Reaper's 3D door tools, which are like they've got a slight bow on the side for creases, and then you can roll it around to a sharp point. Really been liking going through creases with that crease-shaped head. So I might have to check those Excalibur tips out and see what it's all about. But that probably comes back to more of like you're talking about fatigue and / efficiency. This hammer is just mint, by the way. It's if you can find it, if they have them in stock, the 4-ounce Glexo blending hammer. Man, love it. Oop. Kicking cameras over and stuff. That's why we use those heavy tripods, Mac.
Don't knock them over.
So when I kick them, they don't fall over. Yeah.
Raise it up a little.
What's up?
Point it up a little bit.
Say that again.
Point it up a little. That's nice. Brian said, they're called tip-shaved mushroom, and they have one that's rounded, which is unshaved tip mushroom from Excalibur. They're adjustable like dent rippers.
Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Thanks for the tip, Brian. See, every time I teach, I learn something new. Love it. Love it, love it. You know what? I need a little bit more reach. I'm gonna have to so I'm gonna try to stay back and give you guys a little better view here. Just shopping for a tool real quick. Right quick. So, camera we want. Two. So we are going to switch to, so these new Kiko hammers, right? I've got 3 of them. Let me show you. So the Kiko hammers, large, medium, and small, right? Right here, carbon hammers, carbon heads. Really like them. I want a little bit more reach. So these are a system. So I can actually interchange these heads on here. So I want to reach out and get a little bit more length to the blending. We're going to switch heads from the Craftsman style head to my double pivot tip head on my longest hammer. A piece of plastic stuck in there. So now I think this makes this hammer 20 some odd inches, something like that. Don't have a ruler in front of me or I would tell you the exact number. Anyways. So we can lock that down. And now I've got a long blending hammer that'll let me stay further back and get a little different view, give you guys a little better view, hopefully. Move this out just a little bit. Switch cameras for you because my camera guy walked away. There we go. It's a little ugly down there. Still got some more pushing to do. Any new comments?
Nope.
All right. All right, guys, I think I'm going to give it for maybe another 5 minutes or so, and then I'm going to get these cameras out of my way so I can really dial in here and get this thing done. So call a last call for questions or comments, questions about tools, tips, techniques, anything like that. We're here. Get something, bud?
Brandon Schmitz is in here. He said, "What's up?" He thought that was John Yeager there for a minute with hair.
I like John Yeager. What's up, Brandon Schmitz? How are you? Hey, I still got to get those DBAP hats. Let me know what we got to do to get some DBAP hats going, Brandon. Oh. See that? I wonder if we got to check my battery status here. Plenty there. We should have plenty of volts. Just a little interference. Part of using wireless, I guess. So, guys, thanks for coming and hanging out through a good portion of the boring part of this repair. Again, it's a little follow-up to our live stream from last night. This is our second repair live stream. Something we've been kicking around. I've seen Mike from Dent Time / Dent Trainer doing some more live streams. Really enjoy those. I like the interaction, so I figured we've got the equipment, we've got the studio. Why not set it up and give it a run and see what it's like? It's kind of fun. Let me know what else, what other kinds of repairs you guys would like to see streamed. Other topics, like we can talk tools, we can talk business, all kinds of fun. Two things.
Stu said we're going up on the TV. Dan had to go to therapy for his last dent. And then we got a question from Brian. Last question: since you use the longer hammer to get out of view for us to be able to see, what would you personally like to use on one of those metal blending hammers? If it was longer, or were you just looking for the softness of the pivot?
So it was a pretty soft low. Come back over here to camera, whatever this is. So it was a pretty soft low, Brian, or soft high, soft, subtle crown. So I want a softer move, just like when I'm pushing softer damage, I want a softer tip. What I really love about these is how, especially when I'm getting more stretched out and I'm further away from what I'm doing, I lose control. Like we all lose control because of these tips. When they impact, no matter how, oh, well, you can see that, no matter how I strike, the tip automatically corrects to the surface of the panel. So that's why I went with this head. Stretching out that far, I'm probably going to go to this head all the time. And if I need a sharper high or sharper crown knocked down, unless I'm forced to do it, I'm just not going to reach that far. Or if I had to reach that far, I may switch to a move more like this, where I would use this like, to show you if I were trying to get way out here and I can't swing, it needs to be tighter, I would go with more of place and then use a hammer with a hammer. So I've got the JVF hammer from Kiko and this double head pivot tip blending hammer where I could go here and go like this. It's also something I would teach when I was out with Kiko. I don't have the backer on here and I don't have the right hammer, but a lot of times I would teach as the crowns got smaller to take this and place on the crown if you're not comfortable swinging accurately like that. And then with a tip on there, I don't want to mess this hammer up. right? Actually strike here so you can put that big hammer face placed correctly and then strike and check. Strike and check. I would not, like, if I had a sharp crown way out here, I would not be going like blending hammer metal face. I just don't think you can be accurate. And then the sharper the high is, the more accurate you need to be, because if you come off of that peak, you're into soft metal and you end up leaving dings. So I guess that would be my approach there. Oh, and with that, which was a great question, and guys, thanks for the questions and the interaction. That's what it's all about. If you could do me a favor, if you're on Facebook, and it looks like most of you are on Facebook, head over to our YouTube channel and just hit that subscribe button. We need to get subscribers up on there. I need to get to 1,000 so I can unlock some options, maybe even monetize the channel, which would be cool. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you're thinking about that level up, when I started this, there were only 4 spots left. So that is filling up quickly. Follow us on social. Listen to the podcast. I drop a new episode every Monday on the Auto Appearance Institute. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, and whatever the Google one is. I can't remember what they call it, but I think we're everywhere that people get their podcasts from. So go check that out. Subscribe to that on your browser. We really appreciate that.
Tom Poland says quality work.
Thank you, sir. And Tom, I don't know how long you've been on, but I was talking about earlier in the stream how knocking down on the panel, you watch low spots fall back in. So I was dropping your tip there, and that has definitely made me a better technician. And even live here while we were working, a couple of those fell in. So we know they need to be pushed up more. So anyways, guys, thanks for checking in. Thanks for watching. I will catch an after video of this somewhere and share it. I think it's going to be tomorrow before I finish this, because it's 3:45, and me and Melissa have a Chamber of Commerce meeting tonight at 5. So I got to cut out a little bit early. Thank you, guys. I will see you on the next stream or somewhere. Stefan, I'll see you this weekend in a couple of days in New Jersey. Thanks for watching. Hit it up. We appreciate you guys. Good. And then you got to hit the bottom one. Yep.